This conference will now be recorded.
Dear students, in Unit 2, so far we discussed the gradually varied flow in open channels. You know that in Unit 2, we have two parts. The part 1 in Unit 2, open channel flow, gradually varied flow. Then the second part, part 2 in Unit 2, is open channel flow, rapid varied flow. Till now, in Unit 2, we discussed the part 1, gradually varied flow. In that gradually varied flow, we discussed dynamic equation of gradually varied flow. We discussed dynamic equation for wide rectangular channel. We discussed channel bottom slopes. We discussed water surface profiles in open channels. We discussed integration of dynamic equation of gradually varied flow. And last class we discussed the specific force in gradually varied flow. All these concepts comes under the part 1 in Unit 2, gradually varied flow. In the semester examinations from Unit 2, you will get 2 questions. In the semester examination, 4th and 5th questions are from Unit 2. Part 1, Unit 2, Part 1, you will get 1 question. Then from Part 2, you will get 1 question in the semester examination. So in the Part 2 of this Unit 2, we are going to discuss the open channel flow, the rapid varied flow. Now coming to this Part 2 in Unit 2, in Part 2, we are going to discuss that rapid varied flow with the concept of hydraulic jump. So please check your cell phones and see this diagram in the cell phones. Most of you familiarize about this diagram in the cell phones. Most of you might have seen this diagram in the newspapers. Please everyone go through this diagram. Dear students, in this diagram, first please focus on this structure. This structure is the dam. This entire structure is called dam. In that dam, this portion is called spillways. So please everyone look at this structure. This entire structure is the dam. And in that dam, this portion is called the spillway portion of the dam. We know that the civil engineers construct this dam across the river to store the water. On the upstream side of the dam, the river water is stored for different purposes. For hydropower generation purpose, for supplying the water to irrigation, for supplying the water to drinking purpose. So for number of purposes, we construct the dam across the river. When you construct the dam stores water on the upstream side of the dam. The amount of water, please listen everyone, the amount of water stored by the dam is called capacity of dam. The amount of water, for example, if you take Srisailam Dam, the capacity of that Srisailam Dam is 280 TMC, trillion metric cubes. 280 TMC of water can be stored in Srisailam Dam. If you take Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, the capacity of Nagarjuna Sagar Dam is around 380 TMC. Similarly, the Almaty Dam, 120 TMC. Narayanapur Dam, 60 TMC. Churala Dam, 20 TMC. Like that, the dam has the storage capacity. Amount of water stored in the dam is called the storage capacity. Sometimes in the rainy seasons, the river may get huge amount of floods. Large floods may happen to the river in the rainy season. During that floods, sometimes the storage of dam might be exceeded. If the storage of water in the dam exceeded due to floods in the dam, we release the water from the upstream of the dam to the downstream of the dam from this portion of the dam called spillways. So we have the gates above the spillways. If you raise those gates, then from the upstream, the water starts flowing over the spillways. It is released to the downstream of the river. So during the floods, heavy floods happen to the river. If the capacity of dam exceeded, we release the water from the dam by using these spillways. When the water is flowing from the upstream of the dam, when the water is flowing through these spillways at this downstream of this dam, you will get this phenomena called hydraulic jump. This mechanism at the downstream of the dam is called hydraulic jump. Definitely, when the water is released from the dam through these spillways, so the gates are opened. When the gates are opened from the upstream, the water starts moving downwards. When the water is moving downwards from the dam through these spillways, at the downstream of the dam, you have this mechanism known as the hydraulic jump. We are going to discuss now why this hydraulic jump formed in the downstream of the dam, what is the reason, and what is the energy loss in this hydraulic jump. Here, due to this hydraulic jump or formation, there is a loss of energy in this flowing water. We are going to discuss what is the loss of energy due to this hydraulic jump and what is the reason for this formation of hydraulic jump at this downstream of the dam. This is an important concept. Every civil engineer should know about this hydraulic jump and also the energy loss in this hydraulic jump. So we are going to discuss the part 2 in unit 2 about that hydraulic jump. This hydraulic jump is a rapid varied flow. Over this small length, there is a large change in the depth of flow. Here the depth of flow is smaller. Here the depth of flow is very high, and here the depth of flow is lesser. So like that, over a short length in the downstream of the dam, over a short length, there is a huge change in the depth of water flow. So we consider this hydraulic jump as a rapid varied flow, not the gradually varied flow. It is comes under the rapid varied flow. So I am going to discuss with you the reason for this formation of hydraulic jump and also the mechanism, the principle involved in this hydraulic jump, and also the loss of energy in this hydraulic jump. With this introduction, we are going to discuss the concept of hydraulic jump. Look at this diagram. Just now I explained. If the capacity of the dam exceeded due to the floods in the river, we release the water from the dam by using the spillways. For releasing the water from the dam, in the dam portion, we have this arrangement called spillways. The gates are provided over the spillways. When the dam is completely filled with water and still the river carrying the water into the dam, in order to release that excess water in the river, we raise the gates over the spillways. When the gates are raised from the upstream of the dam, this water starts flowing over the spillway to this downstream of the dam. So please check this flow of water over the spillway. Here, this is upstream of the dam. The gates are raised. Then this water from the upstream of the dam starts flowing in the downward direction over the spillway. Here, this is the downward movement. After reaching this bottom of the spillway, here the depth of water and the downstream of the dam. When the water reaches this bottom of the spillway, the depth of water flow at this location is small value. In this region, please everyone check this. In this region, the depth of water flow is less than the critical depth YC. So in this portion, that is just at the bottom of the spillway, in this portion, the depth of this water flow is less value. This depth of flow in this region is lesser than the critical depth. We know that when the depth of water flow less than the critical depth, we call that flow as the supercritical flow. So in this portion of channel, this is an open channel river. On the downstream of the dam, again we have river. So in this portion of the river open channel, the depth of water flow is less than the critical depth. So we call this water flow in this region as the supercritical flow, because when the depth of water flow less than the critical depth of open channel, we call that flow as supercritical flow. So when the water is released from the dam, the water starts flowing over the spillway. It reaches the bottom of the spillway. At the bottom of the spillway, the depth of water flow in this small portion of open channel river is less than the critical depth of flow YC. Once this depth of flow is less than the critical depth, we call that flow as the supercritical flow. So at the bottom of the spillway, in this small portion, the water is under supercritical flow condition, because the depth of water flow in this portion is less than the critical depth. Then after this supercritical flow, from this point onwards, there is a rise in the water level sharply. So from this point onwards, the depth of water flow increases sharply, and at a certain location, at a certain portion, the depth of water flow in this portion of channel, at this portion of channel, the depth of water flow in that channel, open channel, is more than the critical depth. So from this region onwards, just after crossing this supercritical flow, the depth of water flow in the downstream side in the open channel starts rising upward. It rises upward, and at certain portion, the depth of water flow in the channel is more than the critical depth. We know that when the depth of flow is more than the critical depth, we call that flow as the subcritical flow. So check this bottom of spillway. The bottom of spillway, at the bottom of the spillway, for certain portion, the depth of water flow less than the critical depth. When the depth of flow less than the critical depth, the flow is called supercritical flow. But after some distance, the depth of flow in the open channel becomes more than the critical depth. We call that flow as the subcritical flow. I explained all these concepts in Unit 1 in that specific energy concept. We discussed this subcritical flow, supercritical flow in Unit 1 specific energy. If the depth of water flow in the open channel less than the critical depth, the flow is called supercritical flow. At a supercritical flow, the water flow is having more velocity. Then if the depth of water flow is more than the critical depth, That flow is called subcritical flow. In the subcritical flow, the water flow having less velocity. So in this diagram, just at the bottom of the spillway, for certain portion, the water is flowing as supercritical flow with large velocity, having high energy. Once the velocity is large, here the water flow having large amount of kinetic energy because of higher velocity. But after certain distance, the flow becomes as a subcritical flow because the depth of flow is more than the critical depth. So in this region, the water flow is in subcritical velocity. In the subcritical condition, the velocity is less. So in this portion, we have lesser kinetic energy. In the subcritical flow, there is a less amount of kinetic energy, whereas in the supercritical flow, we have large kinetic energy. So at the bottom of the spillway, the water flow over a short length, is changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition. So check this diagram, everyone. At the bottom of the spillway, over a short length of travel, so the water is flowing in the open channel river. So over a short length of travel, at the bottom of the spillway, the condition of water flow changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition due to that sudden change in the supercritical condition to subcritical condition. In this region, we have that mechanism called hydraulic jump. So this hydraulic jump is formed at this bottom of the spillway due to the sudden change in the condition of the water flow from supercritical condition to subcritical condition. At a supercritical condition, large amount of kinetic energy. At a subcritical condition, less amount of kinetic energy. So the water flow with a large kinetic energy is hitting the water flow with less kinetic energy. So check this movement flow of water in the region. In this region, the water is in subcritical condition with lesser velocity, with lesser kinetic energy, whereas here the water is in supercritical condition with more velocity, more kinetic energy. So at the bottom of the spillway, the water flow with large kinetic energy is hitting the water flow with lesser kinetic energy because of the transformation. Once the water flow with large kinetic energy transformed into water flow with lesser kinetic energy over this small distance, that change is happened. In this small length of channel, the water flow changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition. So in this region, we have this development of hydraulic jump. So the hydraulic jump is formed in the bottom of the spillway, on the downstream of the river, or at the bottom of the spillway. This hydraulic jump is forming due to the transformation of the water flow from supercritical condition to subcritical condition. That is the reason for the development of hydraulic jump in the dams at the downstream direction. This is that hydraulic jump. So at this bottom of the spillway, please everyone check this. At this bottom of the spillway, the depth of water flow is less. So in this portion, in this small portion, the water flow is in supercritical condition, large kinetic energy. Whereas from this portion onwards, not in this middle portion, please. From this portion onwards, the depth of flow is high, the water is in subcritical condition. So over a small length of travel, the water condition is changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition, due to the transformation, we have this development of phenomena during the transformation from supercritical condition to subcritical condition, that is called hydraulic jump. So the hydraulic jump is forming at the downstream of the dam or at the bottom of the spillway due to the change in condition of water flow from supercritical condition to subcritical condition. This is entirely rapid varied flow, because over a short length the depth of water flow is changing abruptly. There is a large change in the depth of water flow over a short length of channel. So we call this hydraulic jump as a rapid varied flow. That is the reason for development of hydraulic jump in the open channels. So please follow these points in the slide. So when the water is flowing over the spillway, at the bottom of the spillway, the water depth is less than the critical depth. At the bottom of the spillway, initially the water depth is less than the critical depth. When the water depth is less than the critical depth, the water is in supercritical condition. Then the water depth increases rapidly. After a short length of travel in the open channel, the water depth increases rapidly. At a certain point, the water depth becomes more than the critical depth. That is known as the subcritical condition. So at the bottom of the spillway, check this diagrams please. At the bottom of the spillway, you can observe this diagram. Here the depth of flow is less. Y1 is less than Yc. Since this depth of flow Y1 is less than Yc, in this portion, the water is in supercritical condition. But over a short length of travel, the depth of flow increasing rapidly reaches Y2. This depth of flow Y2 greater than critical depth Yc. So in this portion, the water flow is in subcritical condition. So at the bottom of the spillway, the water flow is changing rapidly from supercritical condition to subcritical condition. Due to that, we have this formation of disturbance known as the hydraulic jump. So the hydraulic jump is formed during the transformation of the supercritical condition of water flow to the subcritical condition of water flow. In that stage, you will get this formation of hydraulic jump. This is that hydraulic jump. In the hydraulic jump, the water is rotating. The flow of water in the hydraulic jump is a rotational flow. I hope in the fluid mechanics, you might have studied a irrotational flow and rotational flow. Normally in fluid mechanics, in pipe flow, we consider the water flow in pipes as a irrotational flow. But in the hydraulic jump, the water flow is not irrotational flow, because high energy changing to lesser energy. In the supercritical flow, high kinetic energy. In the subcritical flow, lesser kinetic energy. When the energy is changing from high value to low value, there is a loss of energy happened. Due to that loss of energy, here we have this rotational flow of water in the hydraulic jump. The rollers are rotational flow. So here the flow is supercritical flow, whereas on this upstream, on the downstream, the flow is subcritical flow. So when the water is changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition, there is a loss of energy in this portion, that is hydraulic jump. Due to that loss of energy, we have these rollers, that is rotations of this water particles happens like this in this hydraulic jump region. Because of the rotational flow in the hydraulic jump, there is a loss of water flow in the hydraulic jump. We will discuss later how to determine the loss of energy in the hydraulic jump. So first of all, you must be clear. about this hydraulic jump formation. The hydraulic jump is formed due to the change in condition of energy, the change in condition of water flow. So check the second point. Thus, there is a sudden change of water flow, that is at the downstream of the spillway or dam. There is a sudden change of water flow from supercritical state to subcritical state over a short length. So when this state of water flow from supercritical state to subcritical state, when the water flow is changing from supercritical state to subcritical state, there is a large rise in the water surface, that is depth of water. This rise in the depth of water over a short length of channel, when the flow is changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition, that is sudden rise in the water level from supercritical condition to subcritical condition is called the hydraulic jump. We also call this hydraulic jump as standing wave, another word. So at the bottom of the spillway, not only in spillways, when the water is released from the sluice gates. Previous classes, I explained the sluice gate. In the major canals, to regulate the water flow in the canal, we provide the gates. If there is a major canal in our village or nearer to your location, go and check that major canals. To regulate the water flow in the channel in that major canal, the gates are provided in that channel. Normally, in the summer season, the gates are lowered because the water flow in the channel is lesser. The gates are lowered in the canal. In the rainy season, to provide the water to the farmers, we raise the gates so that the water starts moving in the canal in downward direction. Those gates are called sluice gates. When the gates are raised in the major canals, when water is released through those gates, just at the bottom of that gate, you can observe this hydraulic jump. Not only in the dams, even in the sluice gates also, you can see this hydraulic jump. It is a small hydraulic jump. So the hydraulic jumps are formed not only in the dams, in the sluice gates also, you can observe this hydraulic jump. At hydraulic jump, the water is almost white color, like milk. Because at hydraulic jump, there is a formation of rollers. The water is under rolling condition in hydraulic jump. So the color of water, if you check that color of water in hydraulic jump, it is almost white color. On the upstream side, the water is in green color. On the downstream also, water is in green color. But at that hydraulic jump, you can see that color of water is like a milk white color. So if you have possibility, check that hydraulic jump if there is a canal with gates in our area. If the gates are slightly raised, when water is moving under the gate in the canal, you can see this formation of hydraulic jump even at the sluice gates also. Same mechanism. When the gates are raised, when water is moving under the gate, the depth of water first decreases. It reaches the vena contracta. At vena contracta, that is nearer to that sluice gate in the downstream side, the depth becomes minimum. At vena contracta, the depth of water flow is less than the critical depth. So at vena contracta, the water flow at the bottom of the sluice gate is in supercritical condition. But over a short length of travel, the depth of water flow sharply rises in the downstream of the canal. When the depth of flow sharply rises, the depth of flow at one particular location in the downstream becomes more than the critical depth. There, that water is in subcritical condition. So at the bottom of the sluice gate, the water flow sharply changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition during that transformation, you have that rise of water level in the canal just at the bottom of the sluice gate, that is called hydraulic jump. So either in the spillways or in the sluice gates, when the water flow condition is changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition, there is a rise in the water level over a short length. Sharp rise in the water level over a short length, or the sharp rise in the water depth over a short length, that is called the hydraulic jump in the canal or the standing wave in the canal. So the sudden rise in the water surface or the sudden increasing in the depth of water flow in the open channel is called as hydraulic jump or the standing wave in that canal. So this is the main reason for the formation of hydraulic jump. Now the hydraulic jump is defined as, please follow these definitions because you are studying this concept first time. So you must know the complete definition of the hydraulic jump. The hydraulic jump in detail is defined as the rise in the water level. Just now we discussed, before the hydraulic jump, the water is in supercritical condition, depth of flow less. After the hydraulic jump, the water is in subcritical condition, depth of flow higher. So the rise of water level, which takes place due to the passage of water, sudden and turbulent passage of water from unstable supercritical condition to stable subcritical condition. That rise of water level, when the flowing water is changing from supercritical condition to subcritical condition, there is a rise in the water level. That rise in the water level which takes place due to the sudden and turbulent passage of water from the unstable supercritical flow. At supercritical flow, velocity is very high. Since velocity is very high, the water flow in supercritical condition is not laminar flow. Because of high velocity in supercritical condition, the water flow is little bit turbulent. You know that turbulent flow is not stable, it is unstable. So when the sudden and turbulent passage of water flow from the unstable supercritical condition to stable subcritical condition, in the subcritical condition velocity lesser. So the subcritical condition, the water flow is almost laminar. In the supercritical condition, the velocity is higher. So the water flow in supercritical condition is turbulent. So like that, when the turbulent flow of water in the supercritical condition changes to the laminar, the stable condition of water in the subcritical condition, there is a sudden rise in the water level in the open channel. That sudden rise of water level is known as the hydraulic jump in the open channel. Since in hydraulic jump, the depth of flow is rising sharply over a short length, we call that hydraulic jump as a rapid varied flow. You know that in non-uniform flow, again we have two types. Non-uniform flow is also called varied flow. Already I explained that non-uniform flow in open channels is also known as varied flow. In that non-uniform flow, we have two types. One is gradually varied flow. Next one is rapid varied flow. Gradually varied flow means if the depth of flow changes gradually over a large length, we call that as gradually varied flow. Rapid varied flow means if the depth of flow changes rapidly over a short length, we call that as rapid varied flow. In hydraulic jump, the depth of flow changing rapidly, increasing rapidly from supercritical condition to subcritical condition, the depth of flow increasing rapidly over a short length. So we classify this hydraulic jump as a rapid varied flow. Since in hydraulic jump, the water flow is changing from supercritical condition with high kinetic energy into subcritical condition with less kinetic energy, there is a loss of energy in the region of hydraulic jump. Due to that loss of energy in that hydraulic jump, the water flow is a rotational flow. It is not irrotational flow. The water flow in the hydraulic jump is extremely turbulent rotational flow because of change in the condition from supercritical to subcritical, high kinetic energy to low kinetic energy. So there is a loss of energy in that portion of hydraulic jump. Due to that loss of energy in that hydraulic jump, the water flow is rotational flow. The water is under rotation, totally rotation in that portion of that hydraulic jump. Due to that change in the kinetic energy from high value to low value. This is the information about that hydraulic jump in the dams at the bottom of the spillways or also in sluice gates. So dear students, if anybody is having doubts about this introduction of hydraulic jump, you please discuss with me. If anybody is having doubts about this development of hydraulic jump, either in the dams or in sluice gates. Normally, if you check the water flow in open channels, at some portions, the water in the open channel is flowing with roughness. Normally, you can observe this in the channels. Whenever the water flow, either in the streams or in the rivers or in canals, you can see that some portion, at some location, the water flow is highly turbulent. That is also known as a hydraulic jump of minor magnitude. So during the water flow, either in streams or in rivers or in canals, you can see at some locations this development of hydraulic jump. Remember, the hydraulic jump is the roughness. The first observation is at hydraulic jump, you can see the color of water is white color. That is one indication. Due to that turbulent portion, there is a transformation of flow from high kinetic energy to low kinetic energy. So in that portion, the water is having lot of disturbance due to that change in the condition from supercritical to subcritical. So like that, in that hydraulic jump portion, the loss of energy happens, the water level changes sharply over a short length, and the water flow is totally rotational flow in the hydraulic jump. So we consider that hydraulic jump as a rapid varied flow in the open channels. So if anybody is having doubts about this hydraulic jump introduction, please discuss with me. Unmute your mics. You please discuss with me about this hydraulic jump formed in open channels. Please everyone keep in mind, definitely you will get the question from this hydraulic jump. Either the theoretical question or a numerical problem. Definitely in the second semester, in the semester examinations, the unit 2 questions, one question is compulsory, one full question is compulsory from this hydraulic jump. So that's why, dear students, please follow this concept of hydraulic jump. I will provide the complete notes to you. Go through that, read that complete material. I will also provide the numerical problems in the unit 2 today or day after tomorrow. Please go through those numerical problems and try to get good marks in hydraulic engineering. Don't be in that failure stage. Try to pass and try to get good marks in hydraulic engineering. So please everyone go through this hydraulic jump carefully. Now coming to this analysis of hydraulic jump. In this analysis, I am going to discuss with you what are the basic formulas we can use in this hydraulic jump. The hydraulic jump is a rapid phenomena. The water in hydraulic jump is a totally disturbed condition. So the normal fluid mechanics formulas, the Bernoulli's equation, Darcy-Weisbach equation, Hazen-Paisoli equation, those equations are not applicable in hydraulic jump. Please don't confuse that hydraulic jump is water. So you can use fluid mechanics formula for hydraulic jump. Even though hydraulic jump is also water, in hydraulic jump, the water is totally in the disturbed condition, highly rotational condition. So the basic equations of fluid mechanics are not applicable in hydraulic jump. You cannot apply Bernoulli's equation in hydraulic jump. You can apply the Bernoulli's equation either at the beginning of the hydraulic jump and at the end of the hydraulic jump. But in between, in the middle of hydraulic jump, you cannot apply the Bernoulli's equation, the Darcy-Weisbach equation, the Hazen-Paisoli equation, and all the basic equations of fluid mechanics are not applicable. So we are going to study this hydraulic jump. We are going to analyze this hydraulic jump by using the another mechanisms. So I will explain those mechanisms. The another mechanisms we are going to use in the analysis of hydraulic jump. Before going to discuss that analysis of hydraulic jump, first of all, you should know what are the assumptions made. Some assumptions we are making in the study of the hydraulic jump in the open channels. So first of all, everyone please follow the assumptions we are making in the study of hydraulic jump. First assumption we assume before the hydraulic jump and after the hydraulic jump. Before the hydraulic jump means supercritical condition. After the hydraulic jump means subcritical condition. So we assume the first assumption, please. We assume before the hydraulic jump and after the hydraulic jump, we assume the water flow is uniform. Please follow this first assumption. Don't confuse. We assume in this analysis of hydraulic jump, before the hydraulic jump, that is in supercritical condition. After the hydraulic jump, that is in subcritical condition. So either before the hydraulic jump and after the hydraulic jump, we assume the flow in the channel is uniform flow. So please check that first assumption. This is only assumption, students, not the reality. So don't confuse about these assumptions. So we assume in the analysis of hydraulic jump, first assumption important, please. That's why I'm repeating. So in the analysis of hydraulic jump, we are making some assumptions. The first assumption is in that analysis of hydraulic jump, we assume before the hydraulic jump and after the hydraulic jump, the flow of water in the canal is uniform flow and the hydrostatic pressure distribution can be considered before the hydraulic jump and after the hydraulic jump. So please everyone read that first assumption. If you have doubts about that first assumption, you please ask me. If you have any doubts about that first assumption, you please discuss with me. You know that before the hydraulic jump, the flow is supercritical condition. In that supercritical condition, even though the velocity is high, the kinetic energy is high, before the hydraulic jump in the supercritical condition, we assume the water flow in the supercritical condition is uniform flow. When the water flow is uniform, you can consider hydrostatic pressure distribution in that uniform flow condition. That is the first assumption. So in that first assumption, we assume before the hydraulic jump and after the hydraulic jump. After the hydraulic jump, the flow is in subcritical condition, almost laminar. In that subcritical condition also, we assume the flow is uniform and the pressure distribution is hydrostatic. That is the first assumption. Second assumption, we assume the length of the hydraulic jump in the open channel is small value. It is not kilometers length. Hydraulic jump will not form over 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer length. Hydraulic jump will form maximum of 100 to 250 meters. That is the length of hydraulic jump in the open channel. If it is spillway, hydraulic jump, it is of 100 to 250 meters. If it is sluice gate, it is not more than 5 meters. Not even at 5 meters also. So the second assumption, we assume the length of hydraulic jump is less value, small length. In that small length of hydraulic jump, we neglect the frictional forces at the bottom of the channel. We know that the channel bottom is a rough bottom, that is a river, artificial channel, stream. The channel bottom is a rough bottom. The channel bottom applies friction force on the water flow. That is already known. But in that hydraulic jump portion, since that length of hydraulic jump is small length, we neglect the friction force from the channel bottom acting on the hydraulic jump due to that small length of the hydraulic jump. Then the third assumption, check that third assumption. In that portion of the hydraulic jump, we assume the channel bottom is horizontal. So wherever that hydraulic jump is forming, in that portion of that hydraulic jump, we assume the channel bottom is horizontal. Dear students, we know in that open channel, the weight of water W resolved into component W sin theta in the direction of water flow. Already we discussed number of times. In that open channel, the weight W of water is resolved into the component W sin theta in the direction of flow. In the W sin theta, theta is the angle made by the channel bottom with horizontal. If the channel bottom is horizontal, theta is 0. If the channel bottom is horizontal, that angle theta is 0. So W sin theta is 0. So in that hydraulic jump, third assumption, we are assuming channel bottom in that hydraulic jump is horizontal. Since the channel bottom is horizontal, theta becomes 0. So W sin theta is 0. So in that hydraulic jump portion, there is no W sin theta component on the water flow. Whereas after the hydraulic jump, we have W sin theta. Before the hydraulic jump, we may have W sin theta, but at the location of hydraulic jump, small length of hydraulic jump, we assume the channel bottom is horizontal. So there is no W sin theta component in that length of the hydraulic jump. Once the channel bottom is horizontal, theta is 0. So W sin theta becomes 0. These three are the assumptions we are making in the analysis of hydraulic jump, either at the bottom of the spillway or at the bottom of the sluice gate. So everyone go through those three assumptions. If we have any doubts about those assumptions in this analysis of hydraulic jump, you please discuss with me. If we have doubts, students, about this analysis of hydraulic jump, what is that first assumption? Before the hydraulic jump, after the hydraulic jump, we assume the water flow is uniform. So the pressure distribution before the hydraulic jump and after the hydraulic jump is hydrostatic pressure distribution. That is first assumption. Second assumption, the length of the hydraulic jump is small value, so we neglect the friction force capital F subscript of small f. In that first hour, we discussed momentum principle, specific force. In that concept also, we neglect the friction force at the channel bottom. Same in the hydraulic jump also. At the bottom of hydraulic jump, the channel bottom applies the friction force on hydraulic jump because the channel bottom is rough bottom. But in that hydraulic jump, we neglected the friction force from the channel bottom acting on the hydraulic jump. That is the second assumption. Third assumption, we assume the channel bottom at hydraulic jump is horizontal. So the weight component W sin theta becomes 0 in that hydraulic jump portion. These three are the assumptions we are making in the analysis of hydraulic jump. With these assumptions, we are going to discuss the analysis of hydraulic jump in the open channels. Please check this diagram, everyone, in your cell phones. Give me the response. Can you see this diagram in the cell phones, please? Can you see this diagram in the cell phones? Give me the response, students.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma, thank you. Go through that diagram. I consider only the hydraulic jump portion in the open channel. This is only the hydraulic jump portion. I am not going to consider upstream and downstream. I am considering only the portion of the hydraulic jump in that open channel. We know that before the hydraulic jump, supercritical condition. After the hydraulic jump, subcritical condition. In the first assumption, we assume before the hydraulic jump, this is before hydraulic jump, the flow is uniform, and here in this portion, the pressure is hydrostatic. This is hydrostatic pressure. So this section 1, dear students, please follow. Section 1 is before the hydraulic jump. Before the hydraulic jump, section 1, depth of flow y1. Actually, this is supercritical condition. Even though this is supercritical condition, according to first assumption, we consider here this water flow is uniform flow. That is as per the first assumption. So before the hydraulic jump, the water flow is uniform flow. In this uniform flow, that is at section 1, the pressure distribution is hydrostatic pressure distribution. Then check this portion after the hydraulic jump, that is section 2. At section 2, after the hydraulic jump, depth of flow is y2. This is subcritical condition. And in this section 2 also, we assume the flow is uniform and the pressure distribution is hydrostatic pressure distribution. So according to first assumption, before the hydraulic jump, flow is uniform, pressure distribution is hydrostatic pressure distribution. After the hydraulic jump, flow is uniform, pressure distribution is hydrostatic pressure distribution. This is from the first assumption. Then consider this portion of this hydraulic jump. In this portion of the hydraulic jump, this is the body of water. This water body is in hydraulic jump portion. Tomorrow class, I will explain this analysis of hydraulic jump from section 1 to section 2. We will discuss analysis of this hydraulic jump from section 1 to section 2. Tomorrow class, I will explain that analysis part. So dear students, if anybody is having doubts in this discussion of hydraulic jump, please everyone look at the diagram. This diagram is similar to specific force diagram. If you check this diagram, in the morning first hour, I consider this same diagram in the concept of specific force with the same channel shapes. This is the channel shaped section 1, same as the specific force. This is the channel shaped section 2, same as the specific force. So whatever we discuss in the specific force, I hope you remember, we discussed that specific force from Newton's second law. We discussed that Newton's second law by using the rate of linear momentum of water flow. The same rate of linear momentum, the Newton's second law, the specific force, we are going to apply in this hydraulic jump, not the Bernoulli's equation, not the other equations. We are discussing this analysis of hydraulic jump by using the mechanics. Newton's second law is mechanics concept, not the fluid mechanics. By using those mechanics concepts, linear momentum, Newton's second law, we are going to discuss this analysis of hydraulic jump in the rapid varied flow. So if you check the diagram, you can realize this diagram already we discussed in the specific force of water flow in open channels. The same diagram we are also using in hydraulic jump. So next class, I will discuss this analysis of hydraulic jump. And with this, I am going to stop the today's class. If any one of you are having the doubts about this introduction to hydraulic jump, you please discuss with me. Okay, students, if you are not having the doubts, you please leave from the class. If you have doubts, please unmute your mics and discuss with me. But please don't forget to read this hydraulic jump. I will provide the material. Study this hydraulic jump. Definitely, you will get the question in the semester examination. So at least for that purpose, study this hydraulic jump. If you have doubts, you please post the doubts in the WhatsApp group or you please discuss with me. With this, I am going to stop the today's class. Tomorrow, I will explain the analysis of hydraulic jump concept. So with this, you can leave the class.